Hello, everyone. This is Vet Talk, and I'm your host, Sergeant Gonzalo Duran. Today's honored guest is Allen Nunez from Solo Pa Mi Gente. Allen, thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you for inviting me down here.
Well, for the audience that may not know, because I'm pretty sure it's one of your first time in on television, right?
That's pretty accurate.
Okay, so let's get a little bit about your background, if you don't
Uh,
mind.
Background: born and raised in the Bronx. Um, from parent from their immigrant parents coming from Nicaragua, and they made their best, to make it, make it positive for themselves to be part of the United States. They went through all the channels to become citizens of New York, and then to bring me and my family to where we're at today. Um, they taught me values and everything like that, which me and my wife bring upon our kids. And with that being said, with all the community work that in my background has been implied through church, school, auto clubs. So I will talk more a little bit about that.
And now, yeah, you pretty much lead, are the director and CEO of Solo Pa Mi Gente.
That's correct. Me and my wife started Solo Pa Mi Gente, branched off Solo Pa Mi Gente Auto Club. So we decided to go towards the nonprofit area to reach more into the community, more in depth with either with more of the public area, trying to get government funding and whatnot to help those families that are in special needs, especially within the Bronx, like one of the poorest districts in New York.
Okay. Now, in if I remember correctly, it's one of the poorest the congressional districts in all of the nation.
One of them, yes, correct.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, Solo Pa Mi Gente, what's its mission?
Well, our mission is to pretty much volunteer our services. We like to also, to help out within the community. We like to get involved, whether it be Department of Mental Health, which we helped out last year, whether it be in the neighborhood, in whichever way possible, needed. Like, for instance, we did help out Devil Dogs, which um, has to help the vets. So like those people who fight for our country, why not help them out? That's one example that we get involved in. That's pretty much our mission. Is just try to help out, even in the playing field with families that don't have deep pockets. We try to fulfill them, try to alleviate their pockets with back to school giveaways. We try to do toy drives, Thanksgiving drives, such
Well, yeah.
examples like that.
So, just to expand a little bit more on that, you know, as the CEO of Devil Dog USA Incorporated, which is the parent organization of Vet Talk that makes it possible to run this program here. One of the things that we've done is work with community members like yourself and Solo Pa Mi Gente in making these programs and these events possible through organizing and getting community involvement, sponsorships, fundings, and donations and stuff like that.
That's correct.
And you guys have hit everything, I mean, that I can think of: the Christmas, back to schools, this drive and that drive, and the support that you've given to the veteran community. Is an approach in what the years that we've been working together. So well, on behalf of the veterans, I want to say thank you for that. And besides, on behalf of the communities, which you've been recognized a few times by your local leaders for the work that you've done, proclamations and et cetera. But that's all nice in situations, but there's always needed more support
Right.
for community level organizations. Do you
Correct.
want to talk a little bit about that part?
Yes, I think like we get a lot of helps from all the local businesses, the mom and pop stores, the local bids like the Belmont bid, which always backed us up in everything that we do. They've been in there like Bogatti's is another mom and pop store that they deep with in the root. We can't do nothing without these mom and pop stores and like the bid. Without their donations, we can't help out the community. I mean, they do their stuff on their end, but those are my backbones. Now, solo pa mi gente in English is only for my people. It's not a cultural thing. It's not. It's a community thing. It takes a village to raise a child, basically, and we're trying to help that happen. lot of the kids in New York don't succeed past high school. If they go to college, who knows if they're going to end up finishing college. There's a lot of things that goes on in New York that steers children away. Now, we mainly help the kids that are from pre-K, sometimes kindergarten to 8th grade. We help them out with their back to schools. You know, we try to alleviate those families' pockets. Now, but the city agencies don't cover kids that are 13 and older in programs. And that's something that we need to get more involved in, is getting into all these type of programs to help these individuals not get into the street life.
And so that's a great point. That see, this is one of the things I love having leaders within the communities to come talk, because in perspective, we don't see everything that's going on, and there's always going to be this other part. Once again, right there. I'm focused on a lot of the veterans and community at large. That's something I never thought about right there. So thank you for opening my eyes on that, and now I can see the bigger picture of what the things that you're trying to do. Because somebody could say, look, we can't work without the local businesses. Nobody can work without the local business, because that's the bread and butter and the backbone of our community. And someone bringing it all together, you need that leadership to do that type of stuff. And that's where you come in and with Solo Pa Mi Gente. But at the same time, the cracks within the system that the government can't do, the people have to do it as well.
That's correct. Like we have to prevent issues in the community. Like, you know, these kids are steered into different angles. You know, the parents work. They work odd hours. So they're not home to be there to, you know, invest in their child's time and to see what their child is doing, or to give them morals. I mean, the biggest stain and the biggest upset in history will be Junior's case.
For those that don't know, a few years ago, a local NYPD cadet, those the junior cadets, was slain.
Explorers.
The Explorers was slain in the Bronx, right across the street from, a few blocks away from St. Barnabas Hospital, but he died right across the street from the hospital.
And his mom worked there.
So, you know, incidents like that, and it was gang related, and he had nothing to do with anything. He was just walking by that, and he looked like somebody that was their enemies, I guess, and they took an innocent life for no reason.
Exactly. Like, if maybe, I don't know what these teenagers are getting involved in nowadays, but what if we have programs? Like, I know there's different agencies, different leaders in the community that start little programs, but there's not enough funding to these programs. Like, I don't know, like there was like a paper I did a while ago back in college, where the number one agency that gets government funding is the Boys and Girls Club. After that is the state parks. Now, there's other people that are trying to fist fight their way to try to get these grants so that they can make programs happen. But I don't think those officials are probably not coming down to the city and see what we're trying to invest in. You know, you're taking away public parks or basketball parks or football fields to put these buildings up. These buildings are coming up so fast everywhere in the Bronx. I know the Bronx is delayed on some of these buildings because these buildings are old infrastructures. Look at the building that fell down in Bedford Park.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a failure in which way you want to see it, but still these buildings are old. You know, and instead of building more parks and more football fields to invest these kids in, to have these more programs to steer away from whatever, you know, evil.
Yeah, what society has to offer,
Exactly.
basically. You know, and I don't want to steer off the conversation too much, but you know, you bring up a great topic. Like, the city would do one thing and then overlap it. So, like, you know, these green parks that we put up that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions in the total numbers, but each park costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to put up, and then now they're trying to knock it down so they can put housing.
Right.
So, that doesn't, the disconnect right there, it doesn't make any sense. Maybe, obviously we need housing, but if you're going to, destroy the land that we invested in and requested it and fought for, then what's the point?
Right. I'm not gonna mention a politician's name on this, but the Belmont Daycare, which is one of the daycares that we've given school supplies. We've donated like Halloween decorations and stuff like that. We've done toys and stuff like that. But they have a little park in their back of their building. They were trying to take away their little park to put a building up there. I'm not gonna name that politician's name again. It was a disgrace to hear it. Like you're gonna try to take away these kids' little park, the little garden, to put a building there. Now that was tasteless,
Mhm.
and that's something like we're trying to get these kids something that you don't see outside the city. I mean, that you don't see in the city, you see outside the city. Like,
Yeah.
they're trying to invest these little kids' minds, planting the seeds now to be an individual like such as yourself or myself to help others and to produce more positivity.
And you bring up a good point with the funding, and the nonprofits, the small nonprofits. I hate saying grassroots. Just the smaller nonprofits that are out there are basically the backbone, are uncovering the bigger pictures that are going out there. Sure, you have government agencies, but they push a lot to the nonprofit groups, and then the bigger nonprofit groups push to the smaller nonprofit groups doing the actual work. But they're not receiving the same amount of funding
Right.
that the bigger ones are doing it, and they normally become, let's say, more of a directory for the small to direct people to the smaller ones. Where do you see the disconnect in that funding? Because I mean, you work with politicians,
Mm-hmm.
you are well known in the community. Where's your disconnect from getting that funding to that, to helping more that you want to?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I tried to steer away from the politicians' help only because you always have that they're gonna deny it. They're gonna deny it. They're gonna deny it because they'll go more with a person that's going to help their office more in some way somehow. It's like I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine, and that's something that I don't do. I rather do the community and uplift my community, and they see what we're doing, and then like you said, like they'll give a funding to a certain group, then another group, who knows what they're doing in the background to help that politician out or whatnot. I mean, there's some of these government officials that's still in their seats, and they're really not doing anything. You go into the office, you barely see them. You're always with the secretary or their assistant. You don't really get to mingle with them.
You mentioned a politician that was trying to knock down that little park and build a building. I think that same politician, when we talk about programs and stuff like that, let's say they may meet with the CEO of an organization that deals with mentoring teens, right? At-risk teens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Devil Dog USA, we have a program, and although we didn't meet with the CEO for let's say for the grants and stuff, we're the ones that are actually mentoring those at-risk teens.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see the difference in what I'm trying to get at. But even Devil Dog, which I'm actually proud to say, and I see that you're similar in this theme, is we work without federal, state, or city funding. We work basically on sponsorship and donations from the community.
That's correct.
So I'm very happy that I can say that for my organization, and we've been lively for 11 years. Now your organization hasn't been around too long, but
Nice.
had a good standing for the last couple of years, especially through the pandemic. A lot of work that you guys did, but I didn't see anybody, throwing truckloads of money, to assist in those projects. But they were happy to get the projects.
That's correct. Like we were our status for non-for-profit was granted in 2017. But the backward I've been doing, let's say I've been awarded community service awards from like the Bronx president back in 1996. So like I've always had a community service background. In which way possible? Like I was the altar boy at a church. I was involved with food drives and whatnot. So I like let's steer it this way. Now I want to go nonprofit. I want to get deeper into what we're doing. So me and my wife just did that. Like we were proud to finally get 2017. Wow, we're nonprofit now. We could ask for this, ask this company that, ask this company for a donation, and give it to our community. And it's helped out. It's worked out. We, obviously we get a tax break, so we go to Home Depot to get whatever we need from Home Depot, like the Halloween decorations that we did for Halloween. We decorated a house for Halloween, and we did a haunted house. The kids were able to go in the house and experience a scary haunted house, something that they will not see in the Bronx, outside the Bronx.
Yeah.
We did also a Christmas giveaway. We did over 600 gifts using the Citizen platform. I was interviewed by Citizens app, and they got the message out to like 1 point something million views, and we were called up. We got donations from people from different parts of the state, and they donated. So we had over 600 toys to give out. We had a line that went, let's say, from 187th Street, where it was in the middle of 187th Street and Crotona Avenue. That line went around to 183rd and Prospect. So there was a lot of kids. They waited in that blistering cold for like an hour or two while we were distributing all these toys out, and it wasn't no cheap toys. I mean, there was a toy distributor from Mattel. There was a lot of it was a lot of things. We was able to do that. So like the people seeing that we were legitly a nonprofit, they seen the tax ID number and they donated.
And it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference.
It makes a big difference. Like if you don't have that, you won't go too far. But we experienced that. We didn't go too far. But once you have that piece of paper, the avenue starts opening up.
And even then, you still are hindered by a lot of things because people want to see a brick and mortar shop too, without knowing that the expenses are really, really high. How do the smaller nonprofits maintain all of it together without getting the funds? Once again, it's a labor of love that is not seen that often, and I appreciate you bringing that up. I appreciate you coming here and speaking to the people so candidly, because a lot, this is not an easy subject to say and talk about when it comes to the back end of the nonprofit work and the world itself. You've gone over your history and the work that you've done. Is there anything that you're upcoming or something big that you want to work on in the near future?
Well, I want to get a facility. That's really big. A facility to do the mentoring of the 13 and up. Like I commend Fat Joe. I'm sorry I have to name this out there, bro. Like we're getting off a little top side.
No, go ahead.
Fat Joe has done a lot as far as getting these kids. I know in his store over on 138th Street around there, he has programs for these kids, either after school programs or whatnot. That's something that I really want to do is teach these kids how to type, how to type up a resume, have a speech therapist there, because some of these kids, they talk. I understand we reflect the hood that we're from, but when you're going to a job interview, we need to prep these kids for a job interview. And I know even the corporate America has changed as far as accepting these kids and how they look with the earrings and whatnot, the tattoos and whatnot. Don't mind me with my tattoos. Now, if I would have gone to an interview like this, tattooed up and everything like that, I would never get your job. But now, if you go into corporate America, you see all the change that they're accepting the change of these kids, how they appear. But we need to also educate these kids how to do a job interview. Not to come in smelling like where you come from. We need to address them. We give them the toiletries. We got to give them the suits. The blazers and whatnot, so that way they could go somewhere beyond that corporate America. Maybe have their own office or whatnot. We need to get out of that stereotypical look.
So it's not just the tangible things anymore; it's the intangible that we have to focus on too. One thing I preach and that we've worked on our end is headshots, portraits. Right. It may not be the ideal. You're not going to put your head. Your photo of your face on a resume, but interviews do check your social media, and if you have or some crazy thing going on your social media feed, it's not going to help you, But if you have your professional LinkedIn type of picture out there, it makes a better impression.
Right.
and people do look at stuff like that. And but if you don't have it, let's say a portrait could be $100 or more. You don't know depending on the situation. And some people just don't have the money to get that because if you're looking for a job, you're looking for the money too.
Right.
But
I believe you did a free headshot, right? Correct?
yeah, so one of the things that we try to do is, and once again, it's based on the funds that we get. We've done free headshots for the youth, for the elderly, for people looking for employment and stuff like that. Even for people on their way to their employment, so that they can change that up a little bit if they need it. Because let's say if you're going to go on, if you're going to hold an event, right? And you have a flyer that you have to build up, what's one of the things that you need? You need your headshot in there. So if you don't have it, then you're scrambling and running for it.
Your headshot is just as important as your logo. And like the devil dog, like you have the Marine with the bulldog. That's
symbolic in what we do.
Right? So like I have on my hat, there's a family. There's a group of people and little kids there. And that symbolizes what we want to help. Solo Pamienta community outreach. We're not certain nonprofits only base themselves on a certain avenue, like dancing for certain. They have a nonprofit for dancing, nonprofit for yoga. Like I try not to, with my wife, steer myself in just one direction. Like community outreach, we got different avenues to invest in, and not being stuck to one thing. And I commend my sister Coco for both sides of the violence. I commend also one of my brothers from Street Rev. Well, he used to be part of Street Rev. I'm sorry. He has no cure, no rest. My friend Ray, and that's for the AIDS. We did multiple events together, and their avenues are beautiful avenues that they're going for, and I'm able to help in every which way I can, and they help, and vice versa. And I always commend you guys with Devil Dogs, and how you guys are veterans and everything. Like I love to assist that, and that's where pretty much I commend for you for having me on this show, so that way I could give my brothers and sisters their big ups on this platform. Like we're embedded in our communities. We try to help out everything in every which way to make everything positive. We want to make New York City or whichever other states that need this type of help. We need to up these communities. There's a lot of communities that are very poor, and we're dipping in there, little by little.
Mm-hmm. Now, if somebody wanted to reach you and maybe help you with some services, maybe help you with some funds, how would they go about doing that?
I'm on Facebook. Solo Para Mi Gente has a Facebook, and you can reach us out there, or I could leave my phone number with you guys, and they could definitely give us a shout out, give us a call, see what we need. If they want to send us either monetary donations or a specific donation like book bags, we definitely need book bags. Food, we can send it our way. We'll distribute it to any pantries that need extra food. Give us a call. My number is 347-778-6698. But again, Facebook is Solo Para Mi Gente Community Outreach. You can see all the stuff that we've done. We have pictures of everything that we've done, helping NYPD with turkey drives. We brought in an arcade van to our complex that we live in over in Garden Street. We had video games there for the kids in that truck. We've done, one time we did a basketball game, a tournament, and we raised 2,000 cans for this food pantry in one night.
Huh.
That's a pretty good number. But yeah, we've done events that we're successful in whatever we try to do, and we want to keep that momentum going. But we can't do it without any help from either mom and pop stores or you guys help from outside. Anything helps.
So just in case you don't have Facebook, you can go to Solo Para Mi Gente on Facebook, and Vet Talk would be happy to pass you along any information that you guys want to receive. So feel free to email us at CEO@devildogusainc.org. And for any other individual that would like to be on the show Also, please feel free to reach out to us at ceo@devildogusainc.org. Now, Alan, I want you to finish off one more time. You have a lot of things going on. Is there anything after the New Year's that you think the people should know about that maybe you want to work on or something that you are working on?
Right now, no. At the moment, we're just focusing on what we always do every year, our yearly back to school drive, and then we do the giving back to the kids as far as like the toys that we do for Christmas. So like those are like our two main focuses on that we do every year, but we want to expand a little more. When I have more free time, my wife has more free time because she's very busy all the time. We want to invest more into, again, having these teenagers and these adolescents in a program. We're going to try to try to make a program somewhere. We got to use a facility. If somebody's willing to donate a big facility so we could have these kids and we could do these programs for them. That's our biggest focus, but at the moment.
So there's two issues that there's always, a problem for nonprofits, right? One is that the fact that you need a location, and two, you need bodies. Now, so if you have a location, this guy has the bodies. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. So I'm sure there are organizations and individuals that'd be happy to reach out to you, and if they do, we would be happy to navigate that for you as well. And for the viewers out there, once again, you can check us out here, and if you want to be a part of the show, feel free to reach out either to us right here, or we could pass you along to Alan for Solo Pa Mi Gente. So the email again is ceo@devildogusainc.org. And until then, always, God bless America.